guys, welcome back to St. James Homestaging, where we talk about all things homestaging. Today's topic is going to be the part 2 of the contracts portion. If you didn't check out the video before, feel free to do so. It is about how to draft a contract for your homestaging business. So, without further ado, let's get into part 2. Hey, I made it right. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want in your contract would be the release and waiver page. Hopefully you can see that. And what the release and what the release and waiver page looks like is basically it's talking about who has access to the building, who's going to be in the facility when I'm in there, and then you kind of make the stipulations on who you'd like to be in there. In other words, if your property, if your furniture is being in there, your workers are in there doing everything, you do not want construction workers and all sorts of painters and people just in and out fixing up the place when you're just trying to do your decor. You don't want your work damaged. You don't want anything. Basically, you want to be the last person in the building. So that's what that paper, you'll iron out in the details in that. And of course, you want to talk about how you're going to access the building. And that would involve like key codes, or would it be a key, or will someone be escorting me? So you kind of want to just make it plain who will be there, when they're going to be there, the time you're going to be expecting them to be there, and all of that stuff. Because your time is valuable, and the last thing you need is for people to not be respecting that. So another thing in here, let's see, it says client agreed to protect any and all valuables in or about the property by removing them to safe storage before the date of staging. Yes, you don't want to be responsible for anybody's leak. Some of y'all will get that reference. But you don't want to be responsible for anyone's expensive items or precious items, keepsakes, or whatever the case is. So you do want to make sure that they place them somewhere, not you, not your team, but they place them somewhere. Of course, we talked about using small nails and things like that within reason. Of course, you want to make sure that you're able to do that, and that goes into a liability portion. But you want to say that if we do use certain nails, it's not an issue. But we're not going to be putting huge holes in the wall. Also, finally on that page, work with me. Client grants permission for the belongings and the property to be inside or outside. Arrange for that to be inside or outside. So you do want items placed in the shed. You do want them placed in storage or a closet or something of the like. So make sure that you're letting them know, hey, these are the things that need to be removed. Just be clear on what it is that needs to be done. And if they're like, we're not doing that, we're not moving these things, then it's their property, so they can have the last say on that. But you do want to make sure that these are the things that you recommended be removed for any legal or decorative reasons. I call this the fine prints page. And basically it's a bunch of legalese. It's not a whole bunch of it's not a whole bunch to read, even though it looks like it. It's actually a pretty quick read. So I'll just run through it really quickly. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little paragraphs. Okay, so the first one is assumption of risk, hard homeless. And that's just basically saying the thing that I was telling you about the nails and things like that is perfectly okay to hang that up, and it shouldn't be an issue there. Limitation of liability insurance is the other thing that you want to make sure you include in this nice fine prints page, is what I like to call it. But what it says is that client hereby agrees that in no event shall enter home staging company or anybody that's affiliated with you, officers, employees, volunteers, agents, contractors, or suppliers, that any fees are exceeded per this contract, outside of tax, of course, but that should be incorporated in your contract. And also that the person's home who you're in, they need to make sure that they have insurance, because your insurance covers but so much. The homeowner also needs to make sure that they have insurance as well. The next one will be absence of warranties and guarantees. Okay, so this one I like. This one talks about, we tell them what we're good at, what we do. We're here to help you sell your home, help you get that property sold, help you possibly get it for over asking. But the key word here is help. We are, in a sense, a visual marketer. And we take our property and we put it inside a home or office or apartment or whatever the case is to help get the house, property, apartment sold. That's what we do. We cannot guarantee it will get sold in this amount of time, if at all. We can't guarantee it's going to get sold for this amount or more. There's no guarantees. We're just here to help get your house sold. That's it. The next one is photography and publicity, release, advertising. It just is what it says it is. It's just basically to say, hey, we're going to put our pictures out there. We worked hard on this property, so we're going to put it out there. It is going to be part of our portfolio. So, but with our stuff being out there, it's also going to help you sell your items. So that's where we are with that. So the next one is the pre-stage cleaning portion. And it is pretty dope if you offer a pre-stage cleaning. That's especially if you do it for free, but even if you do it for financial gain, that's still pretty awesome to do, because a lot of people can't clean like you can clean, and so you definitely want the best of the best. And if you know yourself and your company is the best of the best, then of course offering that it's pretty awesome to do so. But if you're like me and you don't want to clean anyone else's house, because you barely want to clean your own, then you definitely want to make sure that you let them know, hey, the place has to be clean before we get here. We don't want to do the carpet cleaning. We don't want to paint Jello stains off the wall. Not really sure why I decided Jello stains, but we don't want to clean that either. We don't want to have to pick up your laundry, sweep floors, mop floors, or anything like that. Chances are we'll probably shine some things, but it's totally up to you or the client to clean the facility. So that's where we are on that. So the next one is governing law, and it's the one-liner. This is the one-liner, and this is what it says. This agreement shall be governed by the laws of the state of Texas, or enter wherever you live. And that just basically says this is legal and binding, and every law that gives me a thumbs up about this particular contract and says that I'm within the legal guidelines, and whatever I do, it complies with Texas laws. That's what this pretty much says. And so same with your state. And the next one says, or reads, entire agreement, attachments, and exhibits. And what that says that everything that's within here, I'll just read the first line. This agreement contains the entire agreement of the parties, and there are no other promises or conditions in any other agreement, whether oral or written. So my worker can't say, oh yeah, we promise you a 50% discount, and then it's not in our contract. We haven't pre-discussed it. They just thought you were cute and wanted to go ahead and hook you up. No, that's not going to be the case at all. It's not legal. It's not binding. Of course, sometimes your workers or people will say, yes, we'll do this to accommodate you. And again, that's pretty dope. But then there are times where it's like, look, let's get it in writing. Get everything in writing. I can't reiterate that enough. Okay, so the next thing is ownership of the property. So it just basically says this person legit is the person who legally is being held accountable for this agreement, not the neighbor or Craig from down the street. It's an inside joke with my family, but the legit person who says, yes, you can access this property. Yes, you can do whatever you want within the agreement on this property. So not just any random Joe or just a random real estate agent that doesn't even have permission to represent the property in this capacity. And finally, severability. And that just pretty much says this. I'm just going to read it in full. It's a small portion. If any provision of this agreement is invalid or unenforceable, the remainder of this agreement shall nevertheless remain in full force and effect and shall be construed as if the unenforceable portions were deleted. So basically, this says, if this is illegal, this is not okay. So no, you cannot and will not be held accountable, or the client won't be held accountable to this because it's no good. So Judge Judy will not be okay with that contract. And you did all that work for naught. And finally, your last page is called the accepted and agreed page. Accepted and agreed, and it's just saying we read all of that, we signed all of that, we initialed all of that, which, let me go back real quick. For your fun fine prints page, initial it all. And that way they can say, I read this piece by piece, and can't say, oh, well, I didn't see that part. Oh, no. I have your initials right there. So you want to make sure you're protecting yourself and also the client, so that they can read and know what they're getting into. So, and this, just like I said, accepted and agreed says, yes, I accept this and I agree to the terms within this contract. Boom, that's it. So that is all that I have for you today for the home staging contract portion. And so stay tuned for the next video. I pray that it will bless you, and I sure hope this one did as well. You guys have a great